they still gotta play us. Let's go, baby. Woo!
Hey, don't run that ball on the one Hubbard, showed you how that go down. Feeling like Santino, tell him we want all the smoke now. We ain't snooping that commercial, we don't put no smoke down. Plus we back and you can't hide, so it ain't nowhere safe to go now. And we always gon' turn up in that jungle every time. How we ain't gon' win when we loaded in with 9? Plus T just came in signed, so the city gon' be fine. Jamar say he open every time and he ain't never lied. Look at how we win at it, the size of the old line. Giving Burrow extra time should be a federal crime. Hey, we right back on that path again. Put the division back to the test, they won't pass again. Orlando and Trent Brown, that's the Tower Twins. Feel like we only getting better as we stacking wins.
And we stacking.
Jasecki in for 6, that's a gritty again. AFC North battles getting gritty again. It's Yoshi second year, we just brought Burton in. Vaughn back to ring some bells, get the cracking again.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm here with Iceman Jeff Trunapole. And starting today, and whenever he has time to join, I have a new co-host. He's going to be with me at the Moreline Log House each and every Tuesday, and whenever he can join the show. He's none other than Joe Farsi. Joe, what's going on, my man?
I am brand spanking new, fresh out of the oven.
You are new, but to being the co-host, but you're not new to the show. You've been on here, and you're taking a hiatus from your show, so you're gonna help me out with mine. So I appreciate it, man.
I've been around the block a few times.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I got a question. Have you made it out to Midwest Best Barbecue yet?
I have not in person, but I've gotten them through Uber and DoorDash. I don't remember one of them.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
It's delicious.
East Side's finest, Milford High School's finest, Tim Worsham.
Yeah. Whatever. I know the West Side boy likes East Side wings, but they are good. What's your favorite? I like the Dillinator wings. Those are mine. Have you tried those yet?
I haven't yet. That's pretty much next on my to-have list. So, Tim, I will make it out soon, my man.
There you go. Also, show's brought to you by Meyer Windows and Doors. Check them out at www.meyercincinnati.com for all your windows and doors needs. And let's get to the West Side piece. Now, Joe's been there. We've let him come to this place. It's Hail Mary's. It's right there in the heart of Cheviot. It's a cool little bar there. Big-ass TV screen, free parking, beer specials, food trucks. It's an awesome place. Check it out, Hail Mary's. Your ticket to the game. And also, like I said, we're talking about the show we're going to be doing on Tuesday. We're doing it live starting a week from today. Live at the Moreline Logger House. Hopefully Jeremy can join us sometime because the show's either going to be at 5:30 or 7 o'clock. I'm not sure which. But we're going to be there every Tuesday during the football season. Excuse me. And we're going to be doing the Mercedes-Benz of Fort Mitchell Club at Moreline Logger House, the pregame experience before each and every Bengals home game. Check it out. It's on my Twitter handle and at the Moreline Logger House. All their social medias. Go out there and you can get yourself some tickets. It's an open bar, people. Open bar. Moreline food. It's going to be an awesome time where we heading and getting ready to watch the Bengals head to their Super Bowl run. All right, let's get to now. See, we're here at 10:30 this morning. The reason to do it because we have a very special guest, Jeremy Rauch, who is from Fox 19, is a very busy man. Now he's usually on TV, but he's still gonna be on TV, but he's on the internet this time, so it's gonna be a little different. But he's on early in the morning. Anyway, it's a big long explanation. Let's get to Jeremy. What's going on, Jeremy?
What's up, guys? I'm so glad you had me on. Thanks for working me in. It's one of those things where my job is changed so much since Joe Burrow arrived to Cincinnati in 2020, obviously in a lot of ways. And then fast forward a few years, we become the Bengals flagship TV partner, and everything has changed in my life since then. And a lot of my evenings, 3 to midnight, are just Bengals crazy right now.
Yeah.
But the kids are at school. I got some time, and I'm happy to join you guys.
Hey, man, I'm glad I ran into you I ran into you at training camp all the time, but I was talking to you and Joe, and you're like, I'll jump on. I'm like, all right, cool. When? Because I've been trying to get you on for a little while, and hey, dude, I'm happy as hell for you guys to see a sports department actually adding people to their sports department. You guys got a studio now and everything. It's like this is like 1990s sports department for me.
I mean, look, I'm Jasmine on a magic carpet. It is a whole new world for us. It's unbelievable to see in 2024 sports department go from what we were with Joe and myself from 2 to 5. And even there's some help outside of just the 5-person sports team now. So it's been crazy. We just put together our first ever show with Marissa Contepelli of the Bengals on our new set. And then you're going to see weekly content. Our Bengals Now show is going to be, we're going to tape that live at Newport on the Levee on Wednesdays, which is really cool in season on a regular Sunday game week. And then we're going to have our Bengals Breakdown show on our new Bengals set Sunday nights from 11:30 to midnight. It's kind of a post-game show after game. So there's a lot happening, but it's really fun.
Well, that's awesome. So Tuesday nights, come to Moreline House and watch us, because we're got some cool guests. Hopefully, maybe we get you or Joe on sometime. Which I know the time slot be kind of hard, but maybe we can work it out. And then Wednesdays, go to Newport and check you guys out. We're going to have you guys covered for the Bengals for this Super Bowl run, which got even more exciting when Jamar Chase is back in practice. Now, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but toot. I did say that if Jamar did not, I thought if Jamar was going to start playing, it was going to be 2 weeks out before this beginning of the season. I didn't think it'd be right on the dot, but this past Sunday he started practicing. That's 2 weeks out from the beginning of the season. Were you surprised at all? And do you think Jamar made his point, or what was the point of the hold in?
I think Jamar's team, the agents and everything else that goes around just Jamar Chase, actually physically the person, I think they all made their point. That's kind of how it works, right? You can do it one of two different ways. You can take the CeeDee Lamb route, which he got paid and it worked out for him.
Yeah, he got paid all right.
There's a little more vitriol involved in that, obviously. And you have Jerry Jones saying things and CeeDee Lamb saying things, and it's a little more uncomfortable. The other route is what Jamar did. And Jamar decided that, and I'm sure he had a conversation with his agent, that he wanted to still be involved around the team, in meetings, at practice, doing all of those things, which to me, and Jeff, like you saying that tells me you know this team, because you know how things operate, and you know a guy like Jamar Chase. You knew he wasn't going to just sit out. There was so much national concern around that of what's Jamar going to do if he doesn't get paid. And it was almost, in my mind and yours as well, it sounds like a guarantee that once you get to those final 2 weeks leading up to the Patriots game, Jamar is going to be there. So I think the hold in was something that Jamar and his team, his agency and all of that kind of talked about and decided that was the right way to go about it. But you'd rather have that than a hold out.
Right.
So Jamar did the hold in. Yeah, he's there. He's around. And everything's on schedule. Whether or not he gets paid before the season opener probably matters to Jamar Chase, but doesn't matter in the big picture. He's going to get paid.
I honestly still will be surprised. I mean, I think the Bengals should, because I think it's just going to cost them more in the long run. But to the Bengals' point, they don't have to, Jeremy, and that's negotiated into the union and their contract. So if he's got a problem with what's going on, he just talk to his union, because that's the way this is set up, where after his rookie deal, he can get the fifth-year option, and they pick it up, and there's really nothing he can do about it. It's kind of like the same way with T. Higgins. They can tag him, and there's nothing they can do about it. It sucks for the player, but that's the reality of the situation.
Yes, no doubt. It's unsettling in the moment, but I think understanding big picture, kind of what's happening here for Bengals fans. Look, you couldn't ask for anything more than Joe Burrow to have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. It's what they have right now. No matter how it's coming together, how it works out, who gets paid when, you're going to have this team together. And quite frankly, what Joe Burrow has said, his best offensive roster in his mind since he came to Cincinnati, set up to try to go win the whole thing.
Exactly. And that's the thing is, and this is one thing that I'm even more excited about, is Joe Burrow has had a completely healthy training camp, made it all the way through, did everything he was supposed to, even no setbacks with the wrist or anything. We can say with the black glove on, glove, whatever. I still don't exactly understand all that, but it seems like he's fine. From what I've seen, he looks like, the Joe Burrow of old. Now, that being said, it's taken him in the last couple of years a month, usually November, December. That's when the Bengals start getting ramped up, and that's when they've made their runs. Well, I'm hoping with the easier schedule we got this year, and Jamar being healthy, T being healthy, Joe being, everybody basically being healthy. Cam Sample's the only one that we lost for the year of that we were counting on. DeAndre Smith and Chris Evans. I'm not trying to deflate them at all, but Cam Sample's more in the rotation. I have a very good feeling that we're going to start off gangbusters. If we're not 4-0, 3-1 coming out of this, I'm going to be kind of disappointed, to be honest.
Yeah, and even as you stretch beyond that, you get into October and you think about the Giants. most NFL smart heads, talking heads, think the Giants are going to be a mess, and I would agree with them, quite frankly. Despite having guys like Malik Neighbors and things like that, the Giants fans are excited about. But there's a lot of reason to believe that this Bengals team should get off to a fast start. What Joe Burrow did in the first preseason game, I was on the sideline. I had a camera on my shoulder. I was shooting the play. But if you would put a camera on me, I think my mouth would have been on the ground, my jaw. But Joe Burrow threw a deep ball to T. Higgins, dropped it in the bucket in double coverage. I mean, the DB made a great play to knock it out of T's hands. But the fact that Joe Burrow, coming off the wrist injury, took that shot, dropped it in the bucket, literally right into his chest in the end zone. That's all we needed to see to know that Joe Burrow is good and should be great come week 1.
Exactly. All right, Joe looks like he's done working on the computer. You got any comments you want to put on here, Joe?
I was just going to say, I mean, it's absurd. This is Joe Burrow's 5th season in the NFL, and everyone's belabored the point, but this is his first actual normal training camp. I mean, yeah, he's coming off the wrist injury, but he's been there since day one, not rehabbing anything. Yeah, he's, on pitch count or whatever. I mean, taking a little more time off because of the wrist. But, yeah, I mean, you look at the schedule, and if they're worse than 4-2, I mean, Ravens and Chiefs are going to be tough games, obviously, but they're coming in at as full health as they can. I mean, I don't know where in the several weeks we are with Amarius Mims, but I mean, that's why they got Trent Brown. I mean, they're in good shape there. I do have a quick question. Do you think that Jamar Chase actually wants to sign, or was he just kind of holding in just to avoid contact and anything like that? Or is he wanting to wait until next year till everyone's deal is on and he can go, $1 above Chase Jay Jettas, or, even higher, whatever, after a presumably good season?
Yeah, look, Jamar has told us, he has not been shy about this. He has told us in the past, and I had to harken back to those interviews because we haven't talked to him. But Jamar has told us that he wants to be the highest paid receiver in the league, essentially, right? He wants to, and this is a competitive thing with Jamar. Yeah. It's just in his nature. He wants to get paid more than Justin Jefferson because they played together, because they're buddies and all that.
Boy, you want to beat your boy,
yeah,
man.
Exactly.
That's it. So,
I want to get paid more than Joe does. So, I mean, I totally understand.
Yeah, and you look at the other contracts still out there. I don't think, if you project towards the next year and you look at guys like Brandon Ayuk and others that still want to get paid, Jamar is going to get paid more than Brandon Ayuk. I mean, that's a fact. We all know that. So I don't know that Jamar feels like that he had to get paid right now, that there's a lot of urgency there. But I think any player would tell you they'd rather get it done now sooner than later, because we've just seen, not saying this is going to happen, but when a player wants to get paid and they don't, and sometimes things get weird, it's on their mind more than it should be. And I'm not saying it will be with Jamar Chase, but I think getting it done sooner would be the player's desire for sure.
Yeah, exactly. We had that same thing with Jesse Bates. He even admitted the second year before his first time he got franchise tagged, that it was on his mind, and he didn't really start playing until the second half. Really, in the playoffs is when he really said, I got to forget about this and play. And I know he said that to you guys in the media before. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it is a thing. You don't want these players. You don't want these players to think about anything other than football. You don't want them to think about getting hurt. You don't want them to think about their money. Just think about football. And that is a thing. And hopefully, Jamar will be able to compartmentalize that, which is, I've never had to do that. I don't think I'll ever have that problem where I'll have to worry about making millions of dollars. But it is a thing. It's like, you don't want them thinking, I want to do this because I'll get hurt, because that's the nature of the beach, Jeremy. It's just the way it is.
It is. Yeah. Look, you want whoever it is you work for, and whether you're making $10 an hour or you're making $20 million a year, whoever it is you work for, you want to know that your boss is like, all right, hey, we got you. I got your back. We think you're the best. We want to pay you. We want you to stay here. That's all it comes down to. It could be peanuts or it could be millions. It's the same kind of thing.
Now, two guys I want to talk about that are injured and are most likely not going to play at week 1. Mims and Miles Murphy. Now, according to Max Murphy, Miles' brother, he said he'll be out for week 1, and I'll see you in Burrowhead. And I second that. I love that they call it a Burrowhead. I'm just saying Joe hates that I do that, but I love calling it Burrowhead. It's cool. On your gut feeling, where do you think these guys are at, and how close? When do you think Mims might not play until Trent Brown gets hurt, to be honest. But when do you think he might be back on the active roster? Well, same thing with Miles Murphy. Yeah,
it's a tough thing to say, right? Like when I initially did the math when Miles Murphy went down, in my mind it was late September, early October based on the projection. Then his brother tweeted that it's going to be in Kansas City week 2, which is September the 15th. So I don't. That seems really expedited for me, and I think that's a lot of probably what he would like to see happen, what his family would like to see happen. But I would be surprised still if he's back by then, based on the initial read on Myles Murphy. To me, it would be more late September, early October, based on that timeline. So we'll see if that changes. And certainly it'd be great for him to play in Kansas City. I gather that no matter what. As for the other side of the coin, you look at Amarius Mims. For a while, guys, I was kind of wondering, do the Bengals, if they had both healthy, Trent Brown and Amarius Mims, who would they pick? And the further it went into camp, the more I was convinced that Amarius Mims, if both were healthy, would have been their pick, would be their pick. So, and I was surprised by that because I thought it was going to be, well, let's see what happens to Trent Brown. Amarius Mims can learn behind him, but he was just doing so well. They loved everything about him. When Joe Burrow doesn't have to give you a glowing endorsement. He'll speak nice about a lot of guys, but if he gives you a glowing endorsement like he did Mims, he thinks something about you. So I still think I would be surprised if Mims plays week 1 because they don't need to force the issue here. Trent Brown dealing with some of that lower back tightness, he's going to be the guy, I think. But I do think that we'll see how it plays out with Trent Brown. We'll see how Trent Brown looks. Does Trent Brown put the Bengals in a position of let's get Mims back sooner than later based on his play? Does that play out in week 1 or week 2? I think that remains to be seen.
This kind of worked out exactly how the in the Bengals' favor, the fact they actually legitimately addressed and put resources in the offensive line. They went out and got, I don't want to say the best right tackle available, but someone who's got a lot of good tape. Trent Brown's only issue has been health throughout the years, and then went out and got, I think, the best right tackle. The only drawback that he had was a lack of tape, because he said the nagging injuries. That it doesn't matter who they put out, they're going to have a solid right tackle, and this is, at least on paper, looks like the best offensive line that they've had in the Joe Burrow era. Am I wrong in that, or?
No, you're 100% right. I mean, look at this offensive line right now. I mean, you go from left to right, and even on the right side where there's question marks right now, like you talked about, that is the only question mark. There have been plenty of seasons where we've been halfway through camp wondering, all right, who's going to be left guard here? Is Cordell Volson going to be that guy? Can he step in there and do that? Considering where he is and nothing really known about him, there's been so many things where you have questions all over the offensive line. Now, the Bengals shored that up in a lot of ways when a couple of years ago they bring in Ted Karras and Alex Kappa and bring in Orlando Brown. But you could just go through Joe Burrow's career and you haven't seen an offensive line, top to bottom, left to right, however you want to say it, this set up to protect Joe Burrow in the best way imaginable. I mean, you look around the league, you look around the AFC North, there's a lot of youth that teams are relying on, a lot of young guys, a lot of unproven guys, a lot of guys that have question marks. The Bengals have one question mark, really, one tiny one, and it's the right side, and it's Trent Brown or Amarius Mims and health around Mims. So you couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, the way I went into this training camp was that Trent Brown was going to be the starting right tackle, and he was most likely during the season going to get injured because the last 4 years he's missed a game or two, and Mims would be able to jump in there. Now, if that happens, if Mims jumps in there, Trent Brown might not get his job back. That's to be seen. But the more interesting thing for me, Jeremy, is that I can't wait to see all 3 of them all out there, all of our 6'8" guys out there on a goal line, and having a running back run right between, whatever side they're on, left or right, run right behind those guys. It's going to be unbelievable because we're going to see it. I mean, they can't not do that.
So here's what I want. I want Mims and Sam Hubbard as a double fullback blocking.
There you go.
I want Joe Burrow, and then I want him to hand it back to Zach Moss, and they just shove forward. Exactly. Sam Hubbard has been used as like a pseudo fullback in his past before, but it's I think about what they could do in a goal line package like that. I mean, for football junkies and football weirdos, how cool is that, right? I mean,
that's awesome.
You think about the Browns and what the Browns have done. There have been times where I'm watching the Bengals play the Browns, which I know has not been fun in recent years, and it looks like the Browns have 15 linemen. I mean, they line up in a package where you're like,
what the hell?
11 men are allowed on the field.
Yeah.
And it just looks like they're just spread out, like everyone is just all lined up. So I think those things are exciting. I mean, gosh, you have 3'6'8" dudes around 350 on one offensive line. That's good stuff.
It's be awesome. I got an interesting question here from Keith. I don't know if I don't agree with this, but I'll see what you guys think. Ice, Joe, Jeremy, what's the over-under on how deep into the season before Volson is on the pine, Karras is at guard, and Matt Lee is starting at center? I don't know why people have so much hate we switched from Jonah Williams to Cordell Volson. I think Cordell Volson is getting better. I don't think they're going to move unless somebody gets injured. I think the only position that might move is right tackle. What do you got there, Jeremy?
Yeah, the one thing that I've had a lot of friends asking me about this as well, which has kind of caught me off guard. No pun intended on the guard there, but it's one of those things. It's one of those things where the Cordell Volson's name has not been brought up a lot in training camp, and that's a really good thing for an offensive lineman.
That's a good thing.
That's if we are talking about Cordell Volson and wondering about Cordell Volson, and those questions kind of keep coming up, that's a problem. That's where you wonder, is he supposed to be the guy still? And the Bengals love Matt Lee. Mm-hmm. I had a conversation with Matt Lee, the rookie, before the last preseason game, and I just said to him, I said, are you aware how much Bengals fans love you? I mean, it's not normal for a fan base to love a rookie center, man, who's drafted in a late round. So they love Matt Lee. But if you put most Bengals fans their feet to the fire and said, all right, week 1 against the Patriots, we're going to move Karras to left guard, we're going to put Matt Lee at center, people would be like, what is happening? I mean, that is not the plan. That is not something you can just kind of tinker with right now. We'll see how it plays out this year. And they're going to have to look through some options if any of those guys struggle. But I don't think Cordell Volson, even though he had some spots of weakness last year, I don't think he's a guy that you're targeting to kick off the line.
No, his spots of weakness are at the beginning of the year last year. Toward the end, he got better. And people want to talk about, Joe Burrow got hurt and it's the offensive line's fault. Actually, the offensive line played pretty damn good last year, to be honest. I mean, it was probably the best line Burrow had up until I think this year. This year, I think it's going to be even better. Yeah. But so I mean, there wasn't a weak spot. I mean, honestly, this offensive line has gotten better, and I think it's going to be a strength this year. Now, my question is, how do you think? And I didn't see a lot of this in the games. Which, I mean, you can take the preseason games for what you want. Which I don't put a whole lot of input into them. I go more on the practices when I go down to the field and see there. Running back, it looks like to me Chase Brown might be RB1. That's what it looks like to me. What do you think there, Jeremy?
I think most of camp, based on what you saw, Jeff, I think you would be right. Most of camp, Chase Brown was running with the ones. Matter of fact, early in camp, I was asking a lot of reporters this because there are a lot of guys who cover the team more in depth than I do from a local TV perspective. And I'm like, why is Zach Moss running 3rd, 4th, 5th in the rotations and Chase Brown is always 1, which kind of confused me. Then as we've seen the preseason play out, we've kind of seen a lot more of Zach Moss, especially in the joint practices up there, kind of mixing in with Chase Brown. But if you had to put me to it, and it's week 1, and it's who comes out as the first running back, I do think it is Chase Brown, but I'm curious to see how this plays out. I had this talk with Joe Daneman recently, my coworker at Fox 19, and I said, if you had to put money on it right now, not that I'm a betting man, if you had to put money on it, Zach Moss and Chase Brown, who is going to lead the running back room? Who's going to have the most snaps by season's end? And both of us basically said we think it's Zach Moss 60-40. I just think Zach Moss, even though they're kind of similar in size, if you see him on the ground level, which I know a lot of you guys have, and you see the differences in just how they're built, I think Zach Moss is a little more built to take on a little more of that load. Chase Brown can still be that changeup, or in some ways that fastball, right? What he is, what he brings. And I think he's going to be used a lot. I just think it might end up leaning towards Zach Moss come season's end based on what it looks like the wear and tear he can handle. We saw a lot last year in Indianapolis as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Moss is going to start out at the very least as getting the lion's share of the carries. And it's not going to be like, I don't think it's going to be like Joe Mixon last year when it was, I don't know what the share ended up being, but it felt like it was 95% Joe Mixon got all the, got the carries until latter half of the season. They realized, hey, maybe we should put the fast young guy in that can actually run away from guys. I think the Chase Brown's still going to get a lot. I think they might have to they might end up just doing going with a hot hand. Like maybe Moss starts out, depending on the package. I mean, obviously Moss runs really, really well out of shotgun formations, and Chase has that more shiftier, I wouldn't say better in pass catching, because I think Zach Moss has decent scores and grades in as a receiver. But it's going to be fun that they have different strengths as opposed to. I don't want to say I'm against Joe Mixon. This has nothing to do with him, but in modern NFL, I think you need to have multiple running backs that you utilize as opposed to that one bellwether. I mean, this is a 1998 where Corey Dillon's getting 35 Ks. I know. I was in high school that year. I felt a heck of a lot younger.
God, you're old. Jeez.
I know. I'm almost as old as you are. But yeah, I mean, you've got guys with complementary skills instead of having one guy that gets it 25, times, 30 times, and then the third down back, you have guys, they're going to be mixing in and out. I'd love to see them both on the field at the same time because, again, Chase Brown is a really good receiver, and you can split them out wide or line them both. There's just a lot of versatility that I think is going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, look, you want to be a team that annoys fantasy football owners. I mean, look,
exactly.
I was doing my draft. I was doing my draft last night, and we do a bid league, and I was driving up the price on Zach Moss and Chase Brown, trying to mess with my friends because they're all diehard Bengals fans. And
that's such a dick
he knows something. He knows something.
And my friend Mark was looking at me because we're doing a big room, all of us together, and I'm smiling as I keep hitting bid, and Mark's like, "What do you know? What do you know?" And so, but it's one of those things, it's so tough. You have the running back by committee, and then there's the idea out there now that, what if Samaje Perine comes back, and shoot, that wouldn't be a bad thing if he did, but it's just. I think it is going to be committee. It might be hot hand, Joe, like you said. I think it's going to be a lot of those things because they have yet to declare really who's going to be that the bell cow.
So, since you brought him up, Perine, what do you think the chances are if he does get cut of the Bengals? One, signing him, and do you think they go with 4 running backs or do they cut somebody there? What's your thoughts?
What's tough is. Travion has been so good this preseason. Mm-hmm. He's a guy who's come so far. He's worked so hard. He's battled injuries at times. And with everything else that's played out right now, Chris Evans' injury we talked about already a little bit. I'm not sure how that was going to shake out for him anyways. But Travion, I think the Bengals really love the camp he had, the preseason he had.
Me too.
And I think they want to give him a shot to be that third guy. Whether or not they go with 4 remains to be seen. And I would only be convinced that they do if they somehow find a way, like you said, to get Samaje Perine back in the fold. And then I think they might think about going with 4. But otherwise, it'd be hard to convince me they would based on the 3 they love so much right now, Trey Brown included in that. So it's tough. From what I've seen, it may be one of those deals where you actually trade for Samaje and you don't have to give away too much at all to get him back here. The Bengals have won a lot of those trades right before the season starts, right? It feels like in recent years. So right. I think they do business well with that. If he gets cut, then I think it's a no-brainer to at least try it out. But yeah, I guess we'll see what plays out with Samaje. But I think Travion has done everything he can to show and prove and earn his spot right now.
Yeah, all he does is in his career, I mean, he's averaging 5 yards a pop. I mean, he's done what's asked of him. I mean, he's a really good special teams player. Mm-hmm. He is a pretty solid pass protector. Everyone loves Samaje Perine, and everyone loves to bring back the old guys. And the Bengals do that, almost to a fault. I mean, how many guys Michael Johnson, I mean, they brought back Von Bell, which was a need. But if his name was Bob Smith and he wasn't here 2 years ago, I don't think people would talk about him. Just stick with the guy that you have. And unless you're going to get someone that fills a totally separate void, I don't see Samaje Perine as really being that much different than Travion Williams. He does offer a bit in the check down game. I mean, with the screen pass in the AFC Championship game in 21, I guess, January 22. Yeah. Remember that? But I don't know that he's better than the guy that you already have. I don't know.
No, I kind of agree with what both of you guys are saying. If they do sign him, I don't see them cutting any of the three running backs. I really do think they like the running back room the way it is. And I know this is going to probably ruffle some Bengals fans' feathers. They might not sign him. They might not go. They might not. They might just leave him and be okay with where they're at. That being said, I think they do need to pick up some running backs for the practice squad because I'm not so sold on that aspect of it. Because just in case somebody and Perine is not going to be a practice squad guy. He'll go sign somewhere else. But I do think they need to address that. Now, with that being said, I'll give it to here, Charles here, because actually, this is one that's been scaring me the whole time. How do you replace the production of DJ Reader? And this is the one thing that does worry me with this defensive line is trying to replace DJ Reader. Now, you cannot. I'll put it this way: you can't replace DJ Reader. I mean, there's not too many guys like him. With McLaughlin getting hurt, and he's a rookie, so we don't know what we would have had with him.
You mean McKinley?
McKinley.
McKinley Jackson. Okay.
McKinley Jackson. I do that every time. Yeah, McLaughlin's the tight end. McKinley Jackson. But with Chud Rankins and him be more of a pass rusher, B.J. Hill is a run stopper, but not like DJ Reader. Chris Jenkins kind of does both, but he's more, I think he's more known for pass rushing. What's your thoughts on how they're going to do this to replace DJ Reader? Because it's going to have to be multiple guys.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they do this and how they weaponize a guy like Von Bell, who is so great at just somehow getting up in there and being an extra guy in the box when they need it that way. But as far as having a guy that replaces DJ Reader, I think you answered the question off the top. But no one's going to do that. I think they like a lot what Sheldon Rankins brings. He's not a true run stopper, as you mentioned.
Right.
And B.J. Hill and Chris Jenkins still has some room to grow a little bit there, I think, as well. But I think that will be – if I look around the entire defense right now for the Bengals, I think the run defense is going to be the weakness. Because I don't have an answer for you on how they fix that and how they have a great plan for that, other than just having better communication overall and that being something that helps. And this is going to sound dorky, but I love watching in camp what Von Bell does in the run game.
Yeah.
He's not a defensive tackle, obviously, right? So, but he just gets in there, man. He gets up on the line. He knows where to go. He finds the right little spot, and he's there. Boom, just like that. That's not going to work full stop. That won't be the plan to stop the run game or slow it down all the time. But I do feel better in some weird way with him there, the way that he can read defenses and he obsesses over film. So all those things are good, but it won't be a strength for the Bengals, I don't think. And maybe that's okay. In today's NFL, maybe that's okay. You give up some yards, you kind of feel a little panicked about it against teams like the Browns and the Ravens and the AFC North. You feel a little bit unsettled about it. But I think across the board, I don't think it will be to the Bengals' detriment, big picture.
But, if you score 30 points like this team should and you get out in front of everybody, that's a run stopping right there. You score more points than they are. You're up by 2 touchdowns.
Get leads.
Yeah, exactly.
Leads, get out in the head. They're not going to be able to run the ball. So that's one thing. Jeremy, it's 11 o'clock. I know you said you probably got to get out of here. Do you got to go, or can you stay for a little longer? If you got to go, I'll let you go.
I got 5 more minutes. Hit me up.
All right, 5.
I was going to say, the one thought that I had about the run stop there, I think they're just going to run a lot different schematically. They're not going to have a true nose tackle, so it's going to be more of a even front. I know they, on rundowns, they'd run 5 linemen, and it's just going to be, 4 and just heavier set with 3 linebackers. So they've planned for it. I mean, he's been in and out of the lineup with injuries the last couple of years. So it's not as if this is a guy that played, 70 snaps for 17 games over the past couple of years. So they, I will give some sway to Lou Anarumo to be able to have a scheme, to be able to have a plan. And they did draft McKinley Jackson, and when I think he'll probably end up going on IR to return when after everything's said and done. But they'll have him the later half of the year to try to work him into that position or to that role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. I think they're going to have to try to scheme around it a little bit, and we're going to have to see how it grows. But there was a lot of excitement around McKinley Jackson, and if and when he is healthy, would be a nice piece to add back there.
Yeah.
Now, another thing I'm really excited about is our secondary. We were talking about Bell. We got Geno Stone back there, but I think Dax Hill has taken to the cornerback position like a fish to water. I mean, I honestly, if he keeps improving the way he is, and we already know what Cam Taylor-Britt can do, there's a chance we could have a top 5 tandem at DBs this year, I think, with those two. I might be looking at with orange-colored sunglasses, looking back that, but hey, Dax played pretty damn good. I mean, Juice can play. He could have been a Pro Bowl or so.
Juice was on a beeline for the Pro Bowl. I mean, 4 interceptions last year before he got injured. I think he had 4 in 5 games, and he was incredible with what he was doing. I love what Juice does because Cam Taylor-Britt was a quarterback growing up, right? And so he has always told us how much he just kind of knows how quarterbacks play. He reads them, kind of understands what they're trying to do, and that helps him for being a ball hawk. And so that's a great thing. And then you have a good problem. You have DJ Turner and Dax Hill. I mean, 2 Michigan men battling out for that final starting spot there at corner. And Dax Hill has I think by a landslide, won the job the last couple of weeks. I mean, there was a point where I was wondering, was Dak still going to get there? There was a point in the first preseason game where there was a deep ball thrown, and Dax didn't turn his head around and goes over him, and the pass is completed. And those are some of the growing pains that we saw. But then you've seen since then, the last couple of weeks or so, and the joint practices and everything else, he's been the guy. And it hasn't wavered from that. He has been the guy in that starting spot. He's shown his speed. He's shown his ability to have pass breakups and all that. So I think as that confidence grows, then he becomes a little more of that ball hawk. But I think right now, you have a good thing, man. You have DJ Turner and Dax Hill battling out. It looks like Dax Hill's the guy. But with his athleticism at that position, I don't know what it looks like as far as top 10, 15, top 5 corners in the league. I have no clue. But if Cam plays at a Pro Bowl level again, and with Dax Hill's speed and what he can bring, plus the help on the back end, that starts to look like a defense that is at least middle of the pack, right? Which is good enough. And lose defense, we've seen a team gets in the red zone, somehow the team just like freaks out and hands the ball to the Bengals. I mean, it's what lose defense. Even last year when the defense was terrible, it still happened a lot early in the season where a team gets in the red zone and the ball ends up in stripes somehow. So I think it's one of those things where they're so much better off. I mean, even Jordan Battle, you guys saw obviously in the last preseason game, the pick 6 that he had. That was a guy they relied on last year,
right?
And now they don't. Now they don't have to anymore. But he's still here. He's still one of those guys that is in his second year and has grown a lot.
Yeah, I think our secondary and our pass rush is going to be really good this year. It's just the run defense that worries me. Jeremy, that's 5 minutes, brother. I appreciate it. Tell everybody again what you guys got going on Fox 19 if they don't know before I let you go.
Sure. I'll try to give you the rundown. So a couple of things that we're doing. We now have an extended final quarter show, which is our high school Friday night show. We did our first ever 11 o'clock kickoff on that on Friday night, a half-hour show. It's like 32, 33 minutes, whatever it is. And ratings-wise, it did really, really well, which is exciting for us because we had to kind of convince our bosses, hey, let's kick weather and news.
People want to know about this stuff.
Like, let's kick. Can you imagine this conversation? Hey, let's kick weather and news out at 11 and do all sports.
What?
So
here for it.
Yes, we are here for it. We want it.
And I'll just tell you, ratings wise, it did really, really, really well. So that was really cool. Good. So 11 o'clock final quarter. That'll change a little bit as college football kicks off on Friday nights in the fall, but we'll keep you posted on that. And then week to week, as far as Bengals content, again, catch us at Newport on the Levee. It's going to be around 6 to 7 p.m. on Wednesdays, free and open to the public to come hang out and watch us, host the show with some Bengals players. That'll be our Bengals Now show, Wednesdays, 6 to 7 p.m. at the Levee, which is cool. That'll air Thursday nights. And then, of course, Bengals coverage on game days. Sunday nights, Bengals Breakdown is a 30-minute show from 11:30 p.m. to midnight that we'll do as well. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. And then, of course, check us out on Twitter and social media. And we hope to bring you the best coverage. We try to, at least.
Awesome. Jeremy, I appreciate it. And, if you guys need help with Bengals coverage, me and Joe, we're always available. Just let you know. We
I got
slide
you.
in and help you out.
I got you.
All right, Jeremy. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, guys. Thank you.
See you.
Thanks, man. Take care.
All right. I'm fired up, dude, for football. I can't freaking wait. They got their thing going on Wednesday. We got our thing going on Tuesday. This is going to be a freaking blast. So if people don't know, me and Joe here will be hosting our show live at the Moorline Logger House every Tuesday during Bengals season. Now, it's either going to start at 5:30 or 7 o'clock. I got a meeting today to try to figure out what time that is. The cool thing is the happy hour is going to be extended. So it's going to start for 3 o'clock and go all the way to 9 o'clock. So you come here, hang out, talk some football, have some fun, and you get to watch us. And we're going to have some cool guests. The first guest is going to be Richard Skinner.
I was going to say, the cool thing is I'm going to be there, but...
Well, duh, of course. Nobody cares. Come see Joe. So, exactly. All right, so it's cut down day. 4 o'clock today. We got our 53-man roster. We're going to try to do our projections here. And I can bring up the screen here unless you want to do it. I can do it. Nope. How do you bring it up? You bring it up.
Let's see. Hang on.
I did it before.
There we go.
Yeah, I did the whole thing.
You have to know which buttons to push.
Yeah, that's what you're here for. You help me push.
This is the most controversial spot, by the way, the quarterback spot.
Yes. I'm not, dude. I cannot believe Joe Burrow. They're going to keep him over Jake and Jake Browning. I can't believe it's going to be those two.
Rocky Lombardi. I thought he had that spot. I mean, he's got the last name.
Right. I know. I mean, even did it crack you up Was it Lombardi that came in? Yeah, Lombardi came in and took the kneel downs at the last game. He just came in for the last snap.
Right, like that's you can put some of these guys, they put them out there just so they can put tape out there for other teams. Like, what are you putting out? Look at the form I have in the victory formation.
Yeah, that made no sense. I'm sitting there going, well, that a police play in a fourth quarter or something.
Yeah,
let them come out and take the kneel downs. Like, that was kind of shitty. But yeah, pretty sure Jackpot Joey and Browning are going to be the quarterbacks 1 and 2. I don't think there's any controversy, and I don't think they're going to have a third one. Third one's going to be on the practice squad. So
yeah, they'll bring some of their just to have for extra, which makes sense. I get it.
Yeah, it's probably going to be, unless they pick somebody up, it's probably going to be not Lombardi, but who's Whitehead. That his name?
Logan Whiteside.
Yeah, Whiteside. Yeah, it's probably going to be him.
I think they'll probably pick somebody up because Whiteside looked. I mean, he's been around for several years. I mean, he was with the Bengals. He went to the Titans, and he doesn't look like he has a clue of this offense. Like, this is someone that, like, you want someone, if he's on your practice squad, someone who has developmental traits, or maybe he understands the offense. This might be a time where they give AJ McCarron a call. Again, just to have that guy on the practice squad.
I'm honestly, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't happened already, to be honest. I thought after his XFL season, he'd come back to be the third quarterback, because he likes it here, they like him, and he knows the offense. He's the perfect guy to have as your third string practice squad quarterback, whatever.
I get him like waiting, because I mean, if someone calls him and they're in dire need of a quarterback too, to be elevated and to be on the roster.
True.
So but I think, I mean, that makes too much sense that if you're not, I would like it if they went with somebody younger that they could kind of groom. I mean, Jake Browning isn't old by any means, but I mean, he's been in the league for a handful of years, and you want someone you can develop that comes up in that system. But
well, the thing is, you got him signed is he signed for 2 years now? So
I don't know.
I think it was 2. I think they signed for 2. I think
I can pull it up here and look real quick. I've got over the cap up.
But the thing is, like, yeah, if you get somebody groomed, that way Jake can move on in a couple years. Because I mean, there's gonna be a point where somebody's gonna offer the Bengals something that they can't refuse for Jake Browning. I think so it could happen. If somebody loses their quarterback, just for what Jake Browning did last year, somebody loses their quarterback, going, we think we got a chance to be a playoff team, yada yada yada, but we lost your quarterback. You never know. So that's the thing. For me, is trying to group somebody there. Go ahead. The
only thing is the Bengals don't have anybody else, and Burrow, unfortunately, he's had, I don't want to say nagging injuries, but he's had a couple of big injuries, and then you're left with who is your backup quarterback if you trade Jake Browning.
Right.
Like, yeah, they could get a late round pick for him. I mean, he's a solid, came in and was able to hold the ship. I mean, that's exactly what you want, from your backup quarterback. But just to clarify, the only way I'm talking about trading Jake is somebody comes in and offers us something really good. That's the only way I would trade him right now. I mean, I did talk about trading him in the offseason, but they didn't do it. Yeah. Now I'm just like, just keep him and see what happens. Yeah.
All right. What we got running backs. All right. I know we talked about this on the show with Jeremy. I think these are going to be the 3. If they were to sign P-Ryan, I think they would go with 4, but honestly, my gut feeling is they like these 3. I really do.
There is do you remember Israel Abanaconda? He was a rookie. Okay, so apparently he was spotted at CVG this morning.
Really?
At the airport.
And they went with the Jets?
Yeah, he went with the Jets. Like, I mean, he's a second-year player. I mean, he was drafted. Where was he drafted? 5th round.
Did the Jets cut him?
I don't know. He hasn't been they haven't released their cuts yet, but it would be weird that he would be out anywhere besides their training facility right now. He was a guy I liked coming out of college. I don't know the fit. He's not a pass blocker.
But the Bengals liked him. I do know that.
I don't know where his fit is unless they're going to trade Zach Moss or Chase Brown, which I highly doubt. But more talented running backs, the better. I just don't know the fit there. But I do only think that they keep 3 running backs because just needs elsewhere. But we'll see. Maybe someone's going to go to the practice squad. Travion Williams could probably make it through waivers to the practice squad. He's a guy who's had a lot of injuries. He's been fine, but I think he'd be. He wouldn't have to go through waivers. I think they could put him right on. He's vested. So they could put him straight on practice squad without having to subject him to waivers, I think.
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of when people always want to pick players up for waivers, there's a lot of teams that you could, or you let guys go, and a lot of times you can sneak them through there because a lot of teams have already are set on their position. Unless it's somebody that they just don't have, which that could happen.
Yeah.
But most times you can sneak guys through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be. Like I said, I really think it's going to be those three. That is interesting that he's at the airport. Where did you hear that at?
Just on Twitter on some of the follows. So.
Okay, that's interesting. We'll have to keep an eye out. Like I said, 4:00 today is when everything's got to be settled. So.
Yeah.
What's the next one we got here? Wide receivers.
Yeah. Is there really any conversation here? I mean, these are the 6 guys. I mean, it's pretty much just move on, right? They're not going to keep 7, and none of these guys are going anywhere. So
that's pretty much the order they're in. It's Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Andre Yusuf, Trent Earl, and Charlie Jones, and Jermaine Burton. That's a pretty good group right there. I'll take them.
It's talent wise, I don't think you're going to find any other room in the NFL that has that talent and ability 1 through 6.
No. Now this one is going to be the interesting one.
I went heavy, and this is my 53-man projection. Not I have them keeping Tanner McLaughlin. Like he's a guy that they could put on the practice squad. Like I think he'd be able to slip through because he did, didn't get a ton of reps. He's older for a rookie. He's 25. Right. I think for special teams with the kick, he's a guy that could play. I don't know how much you want to expose Eric All with his injuries to special teams.
Oh no.
Right, exactly. So that's why I went heavy there. I could easily see Tanner McLaughlin like getting waived and going to the practice squad, but I mean the rest of the room pretty much makes sense. Eric All looks like that guy. I can see him next year being the main being your number 1 pass catching tight end.
I mean, to me, the only 2 that I'll be surprised if they keep 5, to be honest. And I think
it would be surprising.
I think it would come down to either Tanner Hudson, who I love, and Tanner McLaughlin, the 2 Tanners. Who they're going to keep. I have more feeling it might be 4, and I think like you said, Tanner McLaughlin might be the one to try to sneak through. But
do you like DJ Tanner or Danny Tanner?
Both.
Okay. There's also the Tanner family from Alf that they were the Tanners as well. Willie Tanner, that was the
Willie Tanner, yes.
Willie Tanner.
Geez, I forgot about that. But the thing is, if they try to sneak guys through waivers, they might have a better shot of sneaking Tanner Hudson through waivers than Tanner McLaughlin, age-wise. So
right.
that might be something they try and do. I think it's going to be 4, and to me, it's going to be definitely Gesicki, Sample, and then either one of the 2 Tanners is what it's going to be. So I don't think it's going to be 5. I think it's going to be 4, but we'll see.
The only reason to put that because things kind of went in flux. I made this out, and word came out that Trey Hill, and I know we're on tackles, not guards, but these are pretty obvious. Mm-hmm. Trey Hill has been waived, and he's gone. So I had to quick adapt and find someone else who was kind of on my bubble. I had Trey Hill in and Tanner McLaughlin off, but Trey Hill is gone, so Matt Lee is officially center number 2.
That kind of surprised me that Hill's gone, because I thought they would keep him just because he has the versatility of center and guard.
Of a guard, but he's also not very athletic, and they're going with younger, more athletic guys, which I'm here for. And
Kirkland can play guard and center, so I mean, guard and tackle.
He's huge. He's another 6'7" guy. I mean, he fits their offensive line. I mean, they got a damn basketball team.
Yeah, they do. I wouldn't want to. If we ever get in a bar fight, we should take them with us.
Christ, yeah. No one will be able to see me. I mean, I'm not short. Like neither of us are short, but we definitely get lost in the shuffle.
No, we go there talk all the shit we want, and nobody mess with us.
Yeah, no one would find us.
Right? Exactly.
So, right. I mean, any different thoughts? Again, like I think they need. Really. I mean, there will. I think there will be another guy brought in, but again, I had 10 offensive linemen, and then found out that Hill was gone. So,
right.
Like, crap. Let's.
I didn't know that. So that might go back to. They might go keep 5. That might change my mind on the tight end. They might go with 5 tight ends then.
Well, and you really wonder, like with the new kickoff, like how that's going to change the back of the roster for your construction there. If they're going to have guys that are more special teams, or again, Bengals usually go with 10 offensive linemen, but I don't know. It also really depends on what how long they think Mims is going to be out.
Right.
Because if he's going to be out for if he's an IR candidate that sit out the first 4 weeks, then they'll go heavy.
Honestly, I got a feeling they're not going to. They're just going to put him on the roster.
I think so. I think so.
Just because we're what, 2 weeks, I think, since he hurt himself, I want to say.
2.5. It was first preseason game, so
Okay, so 2.5 weeks.
we're past the couple.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're
past couple,
in
more
the
toward
in
the
the several.
few. Yeah.
We're now in the several time
Right.
frame.
So I mean, like I said, you're looking. I think it might be if they think he's ready by week 2 or possibly week 3. I think they're putting him on the roster and just going to go with it.
Yeah, he'll probably just be inactive week 1
Yeah.
and maybe week 2. Hopefully he's there in week 2 again, just to have that extra guy for the. I mean, you need as many guys as possible. The Chiefs have a good defensive line, so you want as many quality bodies there for you. So
Exactly. Edge.
All right.
Really can't. Oh, well, except Miles Murphy's going to be on. He'll probably be on the IR, I would think.
that's what that's what Jeremy was saying. His brother says he's going to be ready for week 2.
True.
I think that they'll keep him active, or I think they'll keep him on the active roster, and just have him inactive and elevate someone from the practice squad. I do have. I mean, these guys. There's no question about these guys, right?
No.
For an interior defensive line, McKinley Jackson will have to be carried through the 53 and then put on IR. And I really think Cedric Johnson, who looked amazing, I think he's going to be the guy that they put on the roster after after McKinley goes through IR, right?
Yep.
I mean, he looked like an absolute dude.
Yeah. Cedric Davis, I think he impressed me in the preseason. He looked pretty good.
I mean, he was blowing up Ryan Kelly and first teamers against the Colts. So I mean, also he's got that tape on him now. So are you want to try to risk him going through when everyone needs interior defensive linemen?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really hoping McKinley Jackson comes back soon because I really like to see. I didn't really get to see a whole lot of him, to be honest. He got hurt pretty early in camp, so he's one I would like to. I can't wait to see what they got out of him.
I haven't heard much of any word on like when he's going to be ready. Have you?
No, I still don't exactly know what's wrong with him. I haven't really even been able to find that out, what he actually injured. And maybe I just need to do some more research on that to look that up. But I'm not really sure what he hurt. I just know he got hurt. Like I said, it was early in camp.
Lower body. I can't remember if it was knee or leg.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything big, but he hasn't been back.
Carted off with a leg ankle injury on August 5th. So
so it was like beginning of like right at the beginning of training camp.
Yeah, we're 3 weeks since he got hurt.
Yeah, so like I said, I would like to see what they got with him.
And they also said he was day to day, like the 2 days later. So who knows?
Right. And we haven't seen him since then. So
right.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to be on the IR. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, everybody else, I agree with that. I like that room.
Yeah. Linebacker. I mean, these are pretty much set in stone. Muma Jong Meta.
Yes.
I think I'm saying that right. Muma Jong Meta.
Muma Jong Meta. There you go.
He is on. He is on the practice. He is on practice field today. He has made the 53-man roster. Mm-hmm. The other 4 was chalk anyway. No one, short of injury, these guys were going to be on the roster anyway. So that's awesome. Bengals always have a linebacker that in camp just makes a ton of tackles that you wish you were able to find room for on the roster. And I'm glad that they were able to find room for this guy. I mean, undrafted guy out of Wisconsin. Fuck Wisconsin because Luke Fickell's there, but still.
Well, we're Bearcat fans, by the way.
And I was fine with Fickell leaving, but it's, fuck that guy. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. We're
out of
okay
quarterbacks.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. Exactly. Yep. We were just talking about this. Josh Newton, dude, honestly, he opened my eyes. He's what, 7th rounder, I think?
He was that was Dejon Anthony. Josh Newton, I think, was a 5th rounder, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, 5th round. But I honestly wasn't sure he was going to make the team at the beginning of training camp, but he has looked really good.
Yeah.
How much playing time he gets, I don't know. We'll have to see, but I've been very impressed with him. And like I said, Dax Hill, I've really liked what I've seen out of him playing cornerback. And so and Mike Hilton, Mike Hilton does. DJ Turner. Like I said, I think our secondary in general is going to be really good this year, to be honest.
What I like is this is a very physical room. Cam Taylor-Britt's one of the most physical cornerbacks in the league, and I'm here for it. He's going to absolutely stick his nose in the run game. He's kind of the combo guy. Usually the physical guys aren't the guys that run their mouth. Usually it's like Deion Sanders was not a physical guy. He was a skinny guy who was allergic to tackling, but he would run his mouth all game long. Cam Taylor-Britt, I mean, is built solid like a like a safety. So is DJ Turner for that matter. We know Mike Hilton for the fact he's 4'2" and weighs 75 pounds. The guy hits like a truck.
Oh, dude.
Single-handedly flattens Derrick Henry and Josh Allen, two of the bigger like non-tight end like ball carriers in the NFL. Just flatten them.
He always comes up to their waist and he just
right.
drills.
He's listed what 5'8", $175.
Yeah,
5'9", maybe 5'9". He's not 5'9".
Probably, yeah. But still, he just throws his whole body out and gets on the ground.
Yeah.
It's amazing and awesome to watch him tackle these guys. So Mike Hilton could stay here as long as he wants, as far as I'm concerned. But I like him a lot. But yeah, I think this DB room is good. And like we're talking about with Jeremy, Kansas Britt, dude, before he got hurt last year, he was on track to be a Pro Bowler, and so he just got to pick up right where he left off last year.
I mean, he's probably top 15 cornerback in the league when he's healthy. I mean, he's still going to get burned a little bit because I mean he's still a younger player, but once those get smoothed out, I mean he's absolutely going to be there. And again, I don't care about the Pro Bowl; it means nothing. Like Tyler Huntley made the fucking Pro Bowl a couple years ago. Like let's so Pro Bowl doesn't mean a lot.
The All-Pro means more than the Pro Bowl.
Right, exactly. Yeah. He's a guy that I could absolutely see pushing for All-Pro in a couple years. My boy Sauce Gardner isn't going to give it up easily, but
no. Another Bearcat reference, by the way.
Yeah.
This room has completely changed and gotten so much better than last year. We got two guys that were on the team last year that are in this room.
Yeah.
That's Tyson Anderson and Jordan Bell. That's it. I mean, Geno Stone, I think, I've said this before, I think Geno Stone is the closest version of Jesse Bates we're going to get. Coverage-wise, he doesn't tackle like Bates does. That's one thing that Stone is not known for, is his tackling, but he's a ball hawk. Von Bell, getting him back has been huge, I think. I think getting Von Bell back is going to be the biggest move in this offseason. I am extremely happy that he's back. And, it's funny is, Joe, when this training camp started, I thought it would be more of a battle between Von Bell and Battle.
Yeah.
It wasn't. There was no battle. It was
they
didn't
even put the position up. And
no.
Bell seems like more of a guy who's, I mean, his strengths and weaknesses. He's okay in coverage, but he's better as a guy in run fits and everything. But you see how much was missing, and I think him not being there was the bigger loss than Jesse Bates. Because I mean, what you're getting Jesse Bates. And the guy he was an All-Pro last year, great in coverage and everything. And you knew you were going to miss that with him being gone. But just the intangibles and the stuff of having that leader, that's what was missing more than anything else. Yeah, Nick Scott was ass, and Dax Hill was miscast. I mean, he clearly wasn't ready to be a safety.
Was it Nick Scott or Mike Scott?
Mike Scott, the assholes pitcher from the 80s.
I kept calling him Mike Scott forever.
I know. So yeah, and I didn't you knew the safety room was going to be back. You knew the defensive backfield was going to take a step back last year. I did not know that. I didn't realize, and I didn't expect it to make that big of a change. And yeah, again, the players themselves didn't perform well, but it was the intangible. It was the glue of keeping everything together. And that's what I mean. The linebackers didn't look like themselves, and they didn't play as well as you thought they would. And a lot of that is, I think, just because of how poorly, especially in pass coverage, how poorly the defensive backs were. The fact that there was so many guys open all over. It looks bad for the linebackers because guys are open over the middle, but they're having to make up for, they're having to cover a lot more space because the safeties aren't where they're supposed to be. So.
Exactly. They got Dijon Anderson and Dijon Anthony and Tyson Anderson are going to be special teams guys.
And Tyson Anderson is a guy that I think could be on the bubble, but he's a very good special team player. Again, I think, I had 5 tight ends and 5 safeties. I think it'll be 5 of one and 4 of the other. And then they'll keep an extra offensive line when all's said and done. And whether it's Tyson Anderson on the active roster or Tanner McLaughlin on the active roster, we'll see. So do have to put someone here. Yes, there's always someone saying something about Dion because he was a bad tackler. The guy was the absolute greatest shutdown quarterback
ever.
Probably. I mean, he played in a different era than today, so I don't, so you can't really compare him to guys today.
Dion did not tackle.
But he was allergic to tackling. He was there, he would just kind of stand in the way of the guy, make him dance around him until someone else would come and make the hit. And that's not a disparage. Not everyone is great at everything. Not everyone is me. But
did you start drinking already?
Vodka? Oh, no.
But Dion would shut down one side of the field, so he didn't have to worry about tackling too much, to be honest.
Yeah, only in the run game. You run his way, and you hope you've got strong safety coverage or good linebackers because he's not going to make those run fits. But
exactly,
it's not a knock against him. He's an absolute Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but Stone's not going to have to worry about tackle. He's got Bell to light him up.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, so see through. So we're moving to next year.
I mean, do you think that Ryan Rico is going to make it?
Well, it depends on if Brad is healthy.
I think he's going to be okay.
If Brad's healthy, then it's Brad's. I think. I said it's Brad's the whole time. To be honest,
I made a smart aleck disparaging comment about Ryan Rico during the game, during on X, and literally 5 minutes later, he started following me. I'm like,
so that's how you get people to follow you.
You're on the field. Who's monitoring social media for you just to start following people who make and it wasn't even like this guy sucks, let's shoot him out of a cannon or draw and quarter him. It was another crappy punt by Rico or something, and all of a sudden Ryan Rico is following you. I'm like, what?
You're on
the field. What are you doing? What is going on?
He's punting the ball, pulling his phone out. Oh, there's Joe, that mother.
Right. Some jackass from Cincinnati, some jackass said something smart aleck about. What is happening?
I don't know.
I wish we had. Again, Kevin Huber was never an All-Pro punter. He was fine.
He was consistent.
I want that guy back. I want just some. I don't have to worry about it. I don't care about distance. I don't care. You have guys like Ryan Stonehouse, even Tommy Townsend in Kansas City that absolutely can smoke in 65 yards, 55 to 65 yards downfield. That's awesome, but I don't need that guy. Give me a guy that's going to kick at 42 yards with a lot of hang time so there's no return. Exactly. Or a guy that, the guy that can pin him, directional punt, put the nose down when they're on the other field and drop it inside the 10-yard line. That's all I care about. No low line drives that are 45 yards with no hang time that are set up for to return to the other side of the field so that the Chiefs can win the AFC Championship game. None of that shit.
Yeah, and I'll go with going down to practice and watching them. I think Brad has been the more consistent punter. I mean, yeah, there's been times he's shanked them. I mean, you're not gonna hit every single punt, but I think he's been the most consistent. He's got the holding down the way Darren Simmons wants it, and somebody was on here one time said that Darren Simmons has 80% of the punter's job is holding. the rest of it is punting. So I think it's Brad's. We'll see what happens.
Probably, and
it depends on how healthy he is. I haven't seen him punt in about 2 weeks, so I don't know. We'll see.
The injury that he had, and who was it? It was someone on local. I think it was someone on Channel 5 that covers sports that apparently was a kicker and was actually
Channel 9. It was
Caleb. Okay, yeah, I don't watch. I mean, outside of the Fox 19 guys, I don't know where. I know the names. I don't know what channels they're on because I don't watch local a whole lot of local outside of the guys from Fox. But I mean, he was explaining what that injury means, and if he were a place kicker, it would be a more debilitating or bigger injury.
It
but
puts more pressure on his leg.
Yeah, as a punter, he should be he should be all right, and just after a couple weeks. So we'll see.
We'll see what happens. We got Joe said, "What's up, dudes? What's up?"
I like the name.
Joe Wood.
Well, I'm just the first. I'm sure just the first name. That must be a good dude.
He's got Wood. Morning Wood. Anyway, all right, dude. We've been on for an hour and 3 minutes. We got 141 people watch us. That's pretty cool for 10:30 in the morning. I appreciate everybody watching us.
I appreciate the fact that nobody has jobs.
Yeah. well, maybe they're at their cubicle watching us. They're multitasking.
We have non-traditional hours for our for our jobs too. So I mean, I'm only making a joke. That's not a criticism. I'm just.
They can multitask like you were. Like you were at the beginning of the interview. All I heard was this.
I had to type out the slides and then keep changing them when I see these guys release. I'm like, God damn it!
I know. I saw you looking up there, going, okay, Joe can't talk for a little while. I'm just talking to Jeremy.
I was able to pitch in, but I'm still just trying to crap this guy. Shit, got to take this guy off. Damn it, Trey Hill messed up my I'm glad you're gone because you weren't very good, but you're messing up my projection.
Son of a bitch. All right, guys. Well, we're going to end this here, but the show's been brought to you by Midwest's best barbecue. Now, we got to get Joe actually out. And you live closer there than I do, and I've been out there.
I'm not far from there. It's like
I know. Why don't you just go? You should just go out there and see Tim. I don't think you actually know Tim. That's why I think you're too scared to go out there. I think Tim's gonna be like, I don't know who that dude is. Like, whatever. No, I'm just kidding. But go out there, and you got to go out there and tell me which wing. Actually, first of all, which wings have you had? Have you had the CTB, the Uno wings? Which ones have you had? The G Funk? Which ones?
I know I've had CTB.
Yeah.
The G Funk aren't really like my style, so I haven't had those yet. I think I've had the Uno.
Yeah, Unos are good. You got to try.
I mean, any wings, especially from there where they're smoked. I mean,
oh, dude.
Any wing is great, but
yeah, well, but he smokes them. Tim knows what he's doing with barbecue. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, smoked wings. Like, I like fried foods, but I have recently found that how much better smoked wings are. They stay. Like, they don't get overdone, like like you're gonna do someone who leaves it in the fryer a little too long. Yeah, if you have a smoker, do some wings.
Exactly, or just go
to Midwest Best and get some barbecue and creamery.
Exactly,
gotta love the creamery.
Yeah, there's that.
Nice and creamy.
That's part always cracks me up. Creamery. Oh yeah, they do have ice cream there. It's right off 275 Ward's Corner Avenue exit. Check out Midwest Best Barbecue. And if you guys are in the market for windows and doors, I highly recommend Meyer Windows and Doors and more at www.meyercincinnati.com. Give Matty Myers a call. He'll show up with the Jackpot Joey mobile. You guys can talk about windows, talk about football. And I said, I got him in my house. You should give him yours. And my West Side peeps. Joe has been to this place. We allowed him to cross into the West Side, the heart of Cheviot. It's Hail Marys. It's your ticket to a game. It's a really cool little bar there. Big ass TV screen, beer specials, food trucks. The best part, they got free parking right across the street. You remember that, Joe? That's when Chevy. There's not a lot of parking. They got a big parking lot right across the street. Park there for free.
Got food trucks, NYPD pizza right there too.
Yeah, it's all delicious. So check out Hail Marys, your ticket to the game. And then, like we've been talking about, a week from today, we will be doing our live show at the Moorline Logger House. It's either gonna be starting at 5:30 or 7. I'll know tomorrow to say what time we're gonna start. I'll be talking to them. But it's gonna be an extended happy hour starting at 3 o'clock all the way to 9 o'clock. I'm gonna be there, and nobody cares that I'm gonna be there. Joe's gonna be there, which that's the more important thing. Go see him. And Richard Skinner from Local 12 is gonna be our first guest. Yeah, go see that guy right there. Go see that guy. See, you can rub his head. He'll let you.
Good luck. This one.
Yeah. No,
we do no.
No, he probably
We're professional.
Yeah, well, sort of. So each and every Tuesday, starting next Tuesday from now till the Bengals season is over, we'll be at Moorline Logger House, and every Bengals home game we had the Mercedes-Benz of Fort Mitchell at Moorline Logger House. The pregame experience will be 3 hours before every Bengals game. We're gonna have an open bar, delicious Moorline food. We're gonna have a DJ. We're going to have all kinds of fun stuff for you guys to do. It's going to be an absolute blast. I cannot freaking wait. A week from this Sunday, Mercedes-Benz of Fort Mitchell at Moorline Logger House, the pre-game experience. Joe, this has been fun. I appreciate you. I'm glad you are officially co-host now, so I don't have to talk to myself all the time, and I got somebody to help me with this crazy stuff we try to do here.
You just need someone to do some fact-checking and everything for you, so that's...
It's all up here. It's all up here.
That's the problem.
Yeah, baby, probably.
CTE is a bitch, man.
Squirrel. That's just my ADD. All right, boys and girls. So I gotta do this first. Thanks for watching. We've been live streaming on ZTV, Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch. Follow us, all that, along with Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Joe, you tell them where they can follow you.
Here, where it has my name and my address or my Twitter handle.
I would not recommend putting your address out there. That's probably not. Yeah.
It's no one. Yeah, no.
Unless people want to come and hang out with you. Actually, if you want to go hang out with Joe, he'll give you your address. Just tweet him out.
That's fine. I don't care.
Go hang out there.
Just don't bother my kids. They're savage. They're mean. They will absolutely fuck you up and make you hate life. So just they're 15-year-old and a 9-year-old. They're mean.
Yeah, they are from you. So what do you expect?
Yeah. Raise them right. Smart asses.
So any final party words for in this thing?
Who dat?
And that's your sports, baby. See ya!
They still gotta play us. Let's go, baby. Woo!
Hey, don't run that ball on the one Hubbard, showed you how that go down. Feeling like Santino, tell him we want all the smoke now. We ain't snooping that commercial, we don't put no smoke down. Plus we back and you can't hide, so it ain't nowhere safe to go now. We always gon' turn up in that jungle every time. How we ain't gon' win when we loaded in with 9? Plus T just came in signed, so the city gon' be fine. Jamar say he open every time and he ain't never lied. Look at how we win at it, the size of the old line. Giving Burrow extra time should be a federal crime. Hey, we right back on that path again. Put the division back to the test, they won't pass again. Orlando and Trent Brown, that's the Tower Twins. Feel like we only getting better as we stacking wins. Jaceki in for 6, that's a gritty again. AFC North battles getting gritty again. It's Yoshi's second year, we just brought Burton in. Vaughn back to ring some bells, get the crack.